Neither snow nor rain, nor heat nor gloom, of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
I don't think anyone has the right to take the life when I'm under
Hello, and welcome to the Sinful Show. I am your host, Father Sin, and this week we're going to be going postal. I'm sure you've heard that term before. I hear it all the time now, especially now that I work for the post office. People joke about it all the time. It's really not a laughing matter. There's been some tragedies that have ensued within the post office in the years, and we're going to cover some of that in the show. Is it because people complaining and asking why their mail is wet when it's completely obviously raining outside? Yeah, letter carriers, they don't have a way to cover up the mail to keep it dry. It's going to get wet. Some of it's going to get wet, but we do our best to get it to you as dry as possible and into your mailbox. Or is it because they're telling us to stay dry when it's raining? Or stay cool when it's 110 degrees. Or stay warm when it's 32 below zero. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know the post office worked on Sundays. Well, you're the one that ordered the Amazon for Sunday delivery. Everything's got its own catch. Honestly, though, I don't believe that this is cause or reason or justification for some of the topics we're going to talk about today. Pretty much, I like my job. It's not bad. It's tough at times. It's rough. I work a lot of hours. I walk all day. And I hear a lot of dumb comments, too. But that's just people being people, And that's any profession you go into and you work in direct contact with people, you're going to hear dumb shit. Let's do a quick rundown about the United States Postal Service. It's also known as the Post Office, U.S. Mail, or just Postal Service. It is an independent agency of the executive branch of the United States federal government and is responsible for providing postal service in the United States, including its insular areas and associated states. It is one of the few government agencies explicitly authorized by the United States Constitution. The USPS traces its roots to 1775 during the Second Continental Congress, when Benjamin Franklin was appointed the first Postmaster General. The Post Office Department was created in 1792 from Franklin's operation. It was elevated to a cabinet-level department in 1872 and was transformed by the Postal Reorganization Act of 1970 into the United States Postal Service as an independent agency. The USPS, as of 2017, has 644,124 active employees and operated 211,264 vehicles in 2014. The USPS is the operator of the largest civilian vehicle fleet in the world. The USPS is legally obligated to serve all Americans, regardless of geography, at uniform price and quality. The USPS has exclusive access to letter boxes marked U.S. Mail and personal letter boxes in the United States, but now has to compete against private package delivery services such as UPS and FedEx. Since the early 1980s, many of the direct tax subsidies to the post office, with the exception of subsidies for costs associated with the disabled and overseas voters, have been reduced or eliminated in favor of Indirect subsidies, in addition to the advantages associated with a government-enforced monopoly on the delivery of first-class mail. Since the 2006 all-time peak mail volume, after the Congress passed the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act, which mandated that $5.5 billion per year be paid to fully pre-fund employee retirement health benefits, revenue dropped sharply due to recession influenced, which is with declining mail. This prompted the Postal Service to look to other sources of revenue while cutting costs to reduce its budget deficit. There's tons and tons more information of the USPS out there. I'm not going to bore you with that. That wouldn't make for a very fun episode now, would it? No. So let's start getting into the rest of this episode here. As stated before, and you can tell by the title of the episode, Going Postal, maybe you didn't know what that means. So, for the ones that don't, it's an American English slang phrase referring to becoming extremely and uncontrollably angry, often to the point of violence and usually in a workplace environment. The expression derives from a series of incidents from 1986 onward in the United States Postal Service. Workers shot and killed managers, fellow workers, and members of the police or general public in acts of mass murder. Between 1970 and 1997, more than 40 people were killed by current or former employees in at least 20 incidents of workplace rage. Between 1986 and 2011, workplace shootings happened roughly twice per year, with an average of 11.8 people killed per year, which these numbers have drastically changed in between 2011 and up until now. Now the origin. The earliest known use of the phrase was on December 17th, 1993 in St. Petersburg Times. The symposium was sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service, which has seen so many outbursts that in some circles, excessive stress is known as going postal. 35 people have been killed in 11 post office shootings since 1983. That's the 10-year period there. The post office does not approve of the term going postal, by the way, and has made attempts to stop people from using the saying. Some postal workers, however, feel it's earned its place. On December 31st, 1993, the Los Angeles Times stated, "Unlike the more deadly mass shootings around the nation, which have lent a new term to language referring to shooting up the office as going postal." Some of the most notable shootings date back as into 1970. More specific, in Los Angeles, California, August 13th, 1970, Harry Sindro, 54 years of age, a postal supervisor, was shot in the back 3 times by Alfred Kellum, 41 years old, whom Sindro had sent home for being intoxicated. 5 hours later, Kellum was found unconscious and arrested. Police officers said he appeared to be intoxicated. Edmond, Oklahoma, August 20th, 1986. During the Edmond post office shooting, 14 employees were shot and killed, and 6 were wounded at the Edmond, Oklahoma post office by Patrick Sherrill, a postman who then committed suicide with a shot to the forehead. Ridgewood, New Jersey, 1991. A former United States postal worker, Joseph M. Harris, killed his former supervisor, Carol Ott, and killed her boyfriend, Cornelius Caston Jr., at their home with a katana. The following morning, on October 10th, 1991, Harris shot and killed 2 mail handlers, Joseph M. Vanderpaul, 59, of Prospect Park, New Jersey, and Donald McNaught, 63, of Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, at the Ridgewood Post Office. November 14th, 1991, Royal Oak, Michigan. Thomas McLean killed 5 people, including himself, and injured 5 others with a rifle in Royal Oaks Post Office after being fired from the Postal Service for insubordination. He had been previously suspended for getting into altercations with postal customers on his route. For some time prior to the Royal Oak incident, the service had experienced labor management operational problems and customer service complaints. This had drawn the attention of local media. The office of Senator Carl Levin investigated Royal Oak, the results of which were summarized in a September 10, 1991 staff memorandum. The memorandum documented patterns of harassment, intimidation, cruelty, and allegations of favoritism in promotions and demotions, and testimony relating to wide-ranging delivery and service problems prior to the McLavin shooting. On May 6, 1993, 2 shootings took place on the same day and just a few hours apart. At a post office in Dearborn, Michigan, Lawrence Jason wounded 3 and killed 1, and subsequently killed himself. In Dana Point, California, Mark Richard Hillbund killed his mother and her dog, then shot 2 postal workers, killing 1. As a result of these 2 shootings in 1993, the USPS created 85 workplace environmental analysts for domicile at its 85 postal districts. These new positions were created to help with violence prevention and workplace improvement. In February 2009, the USPS unilaterally eliminated these positions as part of its downsizing efforts. Goleta, California, 2006. Jennifer Sand Macro, a former postal employee, killed 6 postal employees before committing suicide with a handgun. On the evening of January 30th, 2006, at a large postal processing facility in Goleta, California, police later also identified a 7th victim dead in a condominium complex in Goleta where San Marco once lived. According to media reports, the Postal Service had forced San Marco to retire in 2003 because of her worsening mental problems. This incident is believed to be the deadliest workplace shooting ever carried out in the United States by a woman. Baker City, Oregon, 2006. Grant Gallagher, a letter carrier in Baker City, Oregon, pleaded guilty to the April 4th, 2006 murder of a supervisor. He reportedly brought his .357 Magnum revolver to the city post office with the intention of killing his postmaster. When he arrived at the parking lot, he reportedly ran over his supervisor several times. He then went into the post office looking for his postmaster. Not finding him, he went back out to the parking lot and shot his supervisor. Gallagher was on a new route for 3 weeks and had felt pressured by a week-long work time study and extra time added to his new route. San Francisco, California, 2017. On June 14, 2017, Jimmy Lamb, 38 years old, fatally shot 3 co-workers at a United Parcel Service, UPS, facility in Potrero Hill, neighborhood of San Francisco, California. Lamb then shot and killed himself as police arrived at the facility. 2 others were wounded by gunfire, and 3 people were injured while escaping. This one doesn't count. This is UPS. Those are the brown trucks and brown uniforms, but we'll go ahead and include this on the list. Columbus, Ohio. That's 90 miles east of me. 2017, postal worker Deshaun Stewart murdered 2 colleagues, his supervisor, and the postmaster on December 23rd, 2017. That's just some of the more notable ones here in the United States. There's several more. But the United States isn't just the only country that's had this issue. I have found a couple that were in Australia, one dating all the way back to 1926, December 17th. It was at the Adelaide General Post Office. They fired a postal worker, James Hanavan, and he ended up coming in, shooting and wounding 2 employees before committing suicide by shooting himself in the head. December 8th, 1987, the Queen Street Massacre, Melbourne, Australia. Frank Vitkovic, I think that's right, Vitkovic, was a former law student, entered an office building on Queen Street at 4:20 p.m. with the intent to murder a former school friend and kill as many people as possible before taking his own life. In the ensuing shooting spree, 8 people were killed and 5 injured at around 4:30 p.m. After the gun was wrestled from him, he jumped to his death from the 11th floor. Vitkovic's friend did not work for a postal department, but for a credit union that was a tenant of the building. Most of the other floors were occupied by the offices of Australia Post, and most of the victims were Australia Post Office workers. People say nothing ever happens in Canada, but we're going to do a little time warp back to October 30th, 1934, Quebec. Rosaire Biaudou, ex-carrier of the Quebec Postal Service, drove 5 of his family out in the woods in 2 trips and killed them. He then took 8 shots at Postmaster Morin, senior mail clerk Moise Jalacoa, and Divisional Superintendent Oscar Fiesque, and killing Jalacoa. Next, I'm going to play a 911 call of something that happened close to Dayton, Ohio. It didn't happen at the post office, but it did involve a postal worker. We'll play the 911 call, and I'll go into the details of this one.
Hello, it's 911.
Okay. Yes, I need to make
911.
I need to make a report. My son's dad just killed his girlfriend and her son.
What's the address?
I don't know the address. It's out Miamisburg, Centerville, somewhere. I don't know the address at all. I've never been out there. My son might be able to show me how to get there. He just put the gun to his head and hung up the phone, so I don't know if he did it or not. I can't even help.
Sorry, what?
My friend just shot himself.
Okay, where's this at?
I know the apartment names, but I
Is
don't
it on
know.
Facebook in Miami Township?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know he did?
He called me and he told me he was going to, and then he said he's getting on Facebook Live, and then I got on Facebook Live and he did it online.
On February 1st, 2019, an Army veteran who was thought to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder executed himself on Facebook Live after murdering a 5-year-old boy and seriously wounding his girlfriend. Giovanni McClendon Jr., who was a postal worker at Washington Township Post Office, died that day from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Concerned family members dialed 911 saying McClendon had told them he had killed his girlfriend, her son, and was about to kill himself. He just called me a minute ago and said that he loved us and that he killed his girlfriend and her baby, McClendon's mother can be heard saying in the conversation. In another call received by authorities, McClendon told dispatchers he spent 3.5 years serving overseas and was just tired. He said, "I'm just saying I'm sorry," after telling the officers he'd killed both his girlfriend and her son. McClendon live streamed the moment he shot himself to friends on Facebook. It's been a long day, he can be heard saying to those watching. He later says it's been nice knowing you before pulling the trigger. Rushing to the Sagebrook apartment complex in Miami Township, Ohio, a SWAT team found McClendon and a 5-year-old boy dead at the scene. His 27-year-old girlfriend was found seriously injured but alive. She was rushed to the hospital and remained in critical condition. Jordan King, who served alongside McClendon in the U.S. Army, believed his friend was suffering from PTSD and lost control. That's my assumption, he told WHIO-TV. I believe he lost control. He raged out, and he did what he did. There's no coming back from that. A sufferer of PTSD himself, King served alongside the 33-year-old in Germany in 2014. He described McClendon as a likable guy, and he was unrecognizable in the Facebook video. I was like, wow, this is not normal. This is not him. This is not normal. I know there was an underlying cause. I'm sure he acted out of anger because PTSD. You really can't control it. Police haven't confirmed whether McClendon struggled from PTSD. Police Chief Hess at the time described the incident as a fluid and ongoing investigation. And on that, you know, there's people out there to help, and you think about hurting yourself or others or whatnot, you call with confidential support. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Line at 1-800-273-8255. Yeah, that last one was rough. As always, my heart goes out to the families affected with this. You ever see someone going through some problems? Talk to them. See something, say something. So, while digging around on going postal and whatnot, which is, again, it's a term that shouldn't be taken lightly, and I know a lot of people joke about it, yada, yada, yada. I ended up coming across some things. I spent some time watching some videos on this, and it's called First Amendment Audits. And, you know, I've seen like a lot of cop watch videos, cop baiting, stuff like that, the open carry stuff with cops, and, you know, just going out and basically taking up police officers' time, stuff like that, which that's annoying as it is, and I kind of get why they're doing it, but come on, guys, grow the fuck up. So with this, I found these audits that these so-called people are doing, and now they're involving the post office. I don't know how long it's been going on, but I found a few videos, and it's, oh my God, it's quite annoying. Just let people work. Quit trying to go places and stirring shit up. It's fucking annoying. But you know, everyone's got to get those YouTube views. People like watching that stuff, and the comments are even more ridiculous, you know. These people are going out and pestering people just trying to do their job, like I said. And you know, yeah, there's, you go in and film in there, but if they ask you what you're doing, you don't have to be an ass about it. I mean, come on. Society. Well, let me tell you. But let me play you a little clip of what I found, and you tell me, because this is ridiculous.
Supposedly there's a sign inside that says, sorry, no pictures. Oh, there's the offending sign right there. So we're going to go inside in a minute and ask about the...
So apparently they are out intentionally looking for this shit to stir some shit up.
Somehow, the Constitution is suspended here.
The Constitution is suspended.
I guess we don't live in America anymore.
Or maybe you're just in a place people don't want to deal with people like you. So the next part of the video, it's like a group of people doing this too. They were walking around a lobby and filming all parts of the post office. These are locked boxes. Here's a sign for this. This is where you can register to vote. And at this point, I mean, they're really not causing any interruption or anything like that. And they're not bugging customers. They're just in the vestibule of the area. Okay. But then an employee ends up putting their head out of a doorway and asks what they're doing, and realizes they have cameras and they probably didn't want to be filmed, and went back, put their head back in the door, and they start making a big deal about it.
May I ask why you're doing that?
Yeah, I want to ask you something, ma'am. Does the Constitution not apply at the post office?
How can you ask us and then shut the door?
What?
Does the Constitution not apply at the United States Post Office?
What are you doing?
Well, we're filming in public as per the First Amendment of the Constitution. We're kind of inquire about why you have a sign that says no photography. Hello?
They come out and ask the question and they slam the door.
So you ask.
Anybody here?
You ask a question and then shut the door.
And to me, in my personal opinion, I just feel like they're just trying to egg on this employee that's just inquiring what they're doing. And like I said, she probably just realized they're filming stuff and she don't want to be on video. But no, the post office is infringing on their First Amendment right. So in the next part of this, you hear him saying that the employee slammed the door and didn't want to answer their questions. The person didn't slam the door, they just shut the door. And now they're wanting to push the doorbell to get someone else's attention to bug the shit out of them.
They come out, ask questions, and slam the door. Well, if you want, we can just ring the doorbell.
There we go. Here comes somebody now. Here we go. Hi, how does the Constitution not apply at the United States Post Office?
Okay, you guys aren't allowed to film me here.
Do you have a poster 7 for the United States Postal Service?
Okay, I'm gonna go get the supervisor for you.
Okay, you go do that. Thank you.
Now you hear them mentioning poster 7. And this is the section of poster 7 they're referring to. Photographs for news, advertising, or commercial purposes. Photographs for news purposes may be taken in entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, or auditoriums when used for public meetings, except where prohibited by official signs or security force personnel or other authorized personnel, or a federal court order or rule. Other photographs may be taken only with the permission of the local postmaster or installation head. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about free speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, etc. It just seems so ridiculous. They're trying... Why are you even bugging post offices in the first place? A lot of these people that go out and do this, they're not from no news outlet. They're not no advertising agency. They're out there, like I said before, they're trying to get those YouTube views, etc. It's like low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. But you go bug the police. Actually, don't, because they got better things to do. Because basically, this ends up falling under photography and filming for personal use, and there's a whole section of that. It's not on a poster and it's not on a chart, but it is through the United States Postal Service's website under the About USPS.com. Informal snapshots from handheld cameras for personal use may be allowed at the postmaster's discretion, provided that there is no disruption to Postal Service operation and that the pictures are taken from areas accessible to the public. In these cases, no prior permission is required from the Office of Rights and Permissions. However, no lighting or scaffolding may be set up, and no picture can depict any Postal Service employee, customer, security camera, or cover of mail. In parentheses, The exterior of a mail piece which would show customer name and address among other things. Postmasters may restrict any and all photography if they determine that it is disruptive or there are potential security concerns. This is kind of what gets my goat. You know what I mean? It's just irritating. But yet, people still continue to go out and do this shit. Yeah. They go out and just make a fool of themselves and try to prove a point that someone's trying to infringe upon their rights. Let's go a little bit further into this with how big of douchebags these people are, and they confront a supervisor at a post office.
There we go. We're going to get a supervisor finally. Somebody who might know something about Poster 7.
So sorry, no pictures. We apologize for the inconvenience, which is on that door, which would indicate in there, I would assume. Why don't they have it on the front door?
But this is U.S. federal property.
It is. And I'm still looking for their Postal 7 or any of their memos from DHS, and they don't have anything.
Nothing.
Interesting.
I wonder if we're getting any assistance from our government employees.
Interesting. But I'm just fascinated by this sign. Sorry, no pictures. We apologize. This is...
Okay.
Okay. How you doing, gentlemen?
Hi, sir. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, you know it's supposed to be regulations. You're not supposed to get hot.
Let me ask if I can.
Excuse me. Can you show me the law that says you're not allowed to film on federal property?
I'm gonna have the postal inspectors come.
Oh, you have the postal inspectors?
Okay.
Okay. You don't want to answer our questions? So he's gonna have the postal inspectors come and talk to us.
Yeah.
And their butt hurt because the supervisor did not want to talk to him and just said they'll contact the postal inspector. They had it posted. They didn't want any photography or anything like that going on in that post office. That's their right to do that. It's interfering with them. It's bullshit. First off, you're trespassing because if you don't have any actual business inside of a business, you ain't got no fucking right there. Get the fuck out. Quit bugging people that's trying to do their job. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Oh. No, you're not news. Yeah, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. Say whatever you got to say. Don't go interfering with other people's lives that's just trying to do their goddamn job. Jesus Christ.
There's going to be some people that have jurisdiction and not like in Culver City where the city police come onto federal property and make an unlawful arrest.
Right, that part.
Yeah.
So now it's an escalation of their constitutional right of being able to record in public, but now it's a debate of which law enforcement agency is supposed to handle the complaint. The postal inspector, because it's a federal building and a post office, or the local city government. Well, if it's in a city, and the building's in the city, and the federal police aren't there, the city police still have jurisdiction over it, dipshits. So this video I watched, it was like 22, 25 minutes long. And they ended up going back outside and walking around the building and filming around the building and looking at the signs around the building and seeing the water pumps outside of the building and back to the dock. And they circle back around to the building and they see one of the clerks coming out to retrieve mail from one of the collection boxes, etc. And they start harassing her right there in the get-go. It's not a matter of free speech, but let a person do their damn job.
Well, let's go back inside this post office. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, there she is. Hey. What'd you run away for? I just want to ask you a question. How you doing?
And immediately, the employee's response is to retaliate and just to walk away from. No confrontation, but they continue to egg this on. Now, in this next little segment, you're going to hear these fucking trolls see a sign where it says U.S. government property. And this falls under, like, the sovereign citizen movement, and they assume because it's U.S. government property, it's their property because the people own the government. Now, my logic is if it's government property, that means the penalties are going to be more severe. But nah, they own it because the government owns it. Because the people own the government. Which, yeah, technically that's how the government's supposed to work, but in this case, no.
It says U.S. property, no trespassing.
Wow, we need to get a good shot of that. It says U.S. property. No trespassing. All right.
You know what that means? It means it belongs to us.
This is what I'm talking about, yo. This is what I'm following us all over the world, you know. Follow my guys, man. There's the choice down here.
Hey, sir, does the Constitution end on U.S. postal property?
At the end of the clip there, you'll notice they're asking another postal employee if the Constitution ends on U.S. government property. Thing is, the post office is really big about hiring veterans. Yeah, that's a majority of the workforce of the United States Postal Service. There's a good section of veterans. They praise their veterans. They love their veterans. I'm a veteran myself. So I doubt that we're out there to infringe upon your constitutional rights. Go eat some Oreos, fat fuck. So on this next clip, you're going to hear this group of people move their little party on past beyond the foyer of the post office into like the actual main like lobby or window for actual post office businesses being conducted, like where there's actual customers. They're in there trying to get whatever they need, stamps or packages mailed out, hell, maybe even a passport photo or whatnot. And the postal employees even try to turn them away, and this is some of the interaction in between these group of trolls and the post office employees, and actually a customer gets involved on this.
In here, you cannot videotape. We have 10 cameras. You can step out there and do all the videotaping you like.
Have you heard of U.S. Postal?
I haven't heard of anything. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
What are you doing, sir?
I'm getting in your way because you're breaking the law.
I'm not breaking the law, actually.
I think you might be.
I'll tell you, why don't you call a cop then?
I don't work here. I'm just a customer.
Then get the fuck out of the way.
No. Why don't you hit me? Then you'll go to jail.
No, I'm not going to touch you.
Good.
But you're interfering with my First Amendment right to exercise.
No. I'm just a customer.
No, you're interfering with my First Amendment right to film in public.
Okay.
Yes. You are.
You're a fucking joke.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. You can hear it right there. Come on, guys. Really? Just keep pushing and pushing and pushing that button. Come on. Come on now.
You probably beat your wife. You look like the type.
Bad word in a government building.
Ooh, I'm real scared.
I like your hat.
Hey, sir, I don't believe that you as a postal employee is allowed to record in a post office.
Can I ask you guys what's going on?
Yeah, we want to ask about this illegal sign right here that says you can't record in a post office.
So at this point, an employee of the post office is recording this group doing this, coming in here and creating all this chaos, and he's filming these idiots doing whatever, and now they're saying he's not allowed to do this.
Have you heard of U.S. what is it?
Okay, well, you know what? You guys
Postal 7?
And SB 411.
This is federal property, sir.
And what gets me here is the stupidity doesn't stop from here. They can't even recite what they even think the regulation is.
Why don't you go sit outside?
Could you provide a chair for me to sit down because my legs are tired? Oh, thank you. Would you like that? Hey, look. Can bag.
I know, I got that.
I love it. Can bag.
Hey, you guys need to step outside. We'll get a response to all of your questions if you have questions.
Okay, yeah, since you got contact.
I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting. But wait a minute. Didn't we just hear the postal employee ask them to just step outside and they'll get them whatever answers they want to whatever questions they have? I mean, come on, guys. Can we meet in the middle here? Nah, that's too easy.
Please tell us about this sign. This is illegal. You might need to take it down. And then
Are you aware of the?
Are you aware of the Postal 7 that the DHS?
Well, you know what?
U.S. Postal Service postal number 7. Are you?
Number 7.
Well, we've been waiting. They already said they were calling the postal police a half hour ago.
Yeah, they said something about the postal inspector. I've been waiting for him.
So to keep you from enduring any more stupidityness of this, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown. The Santa Monica police end up coming out, and they go back and forth, and the cops are very professional, this, that, and another, with this group of idiots, and even talks to the employees and said, yeah, they understand that, but the postmaster said that they don't want them in there, which is the postmaster's right. And they argue with the officer and say that they never heard him say this or that or another, and blah, 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 blah. Well, if an employee tells you that from the get-go, that's probably from the postmaster in the first place. So anyways, this just shows idiots are abroad everywhere you go. You gotta be messing with cops. You gotta be messing with postal employees. They gotta be messing with military bases. Yeah, I didn't even touch base on that yet. Everyone is above the law one way or another. Everyone knows. They think they know the law and how it works and how it evolves, and their rights are being violated because other people don't want to be filmed or be part of their stupid little YouTube click shit. That's just me. So, anyways, guys, stay tuned. Get a chance, leave me a positive review on iTunes, that little purple icon on your Apple devices. Yes. Helps me. Yeah, I might get off a little bit on those reviews, but it really does help with the visibility of the show. We're working on building up the show the best I can. We've got a show about Vikings coming up. We got a show about the Spartans, the Romans. We got a couple interviewers. No, not interviewers, but interviewees. Oh, they're going to be great. They're going to be great. You're going to love them. So stay tuned, guys. Till next time, stay sinful.